drove on into Apple parked that car, walked in the bank. Wasn't nobody in there but Mr. Grace, the banker, and Mr. Watson. Hello, Nate. Hi, Nate. How do you do, Mr. Grace, Mr. Watson? Well, you come here to sign them papers, didn't you? Yes, sirs. That's what I came here to do. So he pushed that paper through the window for me to sign. I handed it to my wife. She stepped off a step or two, whipped that paper over in a jiffy. And she said, darling, that paper covers everything you got. Your mules, your wagons, all your farm tools, your hogs and cows, everything you got is on that paper. Right there, I burst like a butter bean in the sun. Ain't that land sufficient to stand for itself and not none of my personal property on it? I wouldn't sign that paper for the Lord himself. I stuck that paper back through them bars. I felt a fire in my heart, and I told my wife, let's go. All right, I got almost to the door, and Watson said, come back. Come back, now. We'll change the paper. Come back. The devil is a busy man. You may get him off his tracks, but he's going to find some other way to get to where he wants to go. That night, they had to change that paper to get me to sign it, but it wasn't the last time they tried to tie me up. Mr. Lester Watson kept trying every year, practically, to get a mortgage on my stuff, but he didn't get it, and that poisoned him just as sure as you born. He picked at me all the time, and we was on a seesaw and a zigzag, but I just shed him off as best I could. And along them time, I wasn't bothering too much with the white folks because I was making it on my own. But in 32, I wound up with all of them. Panic set in that year. Cotton was cheap, prices and dropped to the bottom. One day I looked down the road, and here come Mr. Leonard Wilcox, hot as a stove iron. He drove up and he stopped, and here's his song to me. Now Watson say, he gonna take all Virgil Jones got this fall and all you got too. I said, he did? Yes. He gonna take all you and Virgil Jones got this fall. I said, well, now there's a law for that. And the law obliges the likes of him as well as me. I ain't gonna hide. If he starts, there is gonna be trouble. During the pressure years, a union began to operate in this country. They called it the Sharecroppers Union. It was something unusual. I heard about it being an organization for the poor class of people, and that's just what I wanted to get into. I wanted to know the secrets of it. Now, my first knowing of this union, a riot come off in Crane Fold. They killed a man, a colored fella by the name of Adam Cobb. Now, Kurt Beale, the high sheriff of Tuckabatchee County, he come running up there to break up this meeting business amongst the colored people, and somebody in that crowd shot him in the stomach. That kind of broke him up from running into places like that. Well, next, here come old man Max Sloan, as big a skunk as ever sneaked in the woods. And he said to me, Mate, you belong to this mess they carrying on in this country. I said, no, I don't belong to nothing. Well, you stay out of it, Nate. Damn thing gets you killed. Niggers running all over here, carrying on this meeting. You better stay out of it. I thought to myself, you're a fool if you think you can keep me from joining. I went right on and joined it just as quick as the next meeting come. Now, my first teacher in this union was a colored fella. I don't know where his home was, and he had a different way of talking than we did. And he told us, and we agreed, the future days follows the present. And if we didn't do something for ourselves today, tomorrow wouldn't be no different. Now, he didn't tell us how this union was going to make it happen, but I felt it. I could feel it was something good. It was going to rise us up out of these old slum conditions we had been undergoing ever since the colored people has remembrance. Bring a clearer way of life. Push the white man back. Mm-hmm. Well, now, we'd hold our meetings, small meetings, at our houses, sometimes a dozen, maybe less. We didn't want no bad men in this organization, no weak-hearted fellas that would give the thing away. And we said, if a nigger like myself went and let out any secrets about the organization to the white folks, the word was, do away with them. Mm-hmm. Mr. Lester Watson wasn't sitting on his hands neither. Mm-mm. In a few weeks' time, he sent the deputy sheriff to Virgil Jones' house to attach all his stock and bring it away from them. Virgil Jones got word of the plot, and he come to warn me and several other men of the organization. Now, I knowed I was going to be next, because my name was ringing in it as loud as Virgil Jones was. And if that was their game, they had picked the wrong man, because I wasn't going to move over and let them sweep up the ground where I stood. That Monday morning, I fixed myself up. Walked over to Virgil Jones' house, about a mile from where I was living. And I got there and I run into a crowd. Several of us from the union was there. We had no plan strictly what we was going to do. But whatever it was, we was going to do it together. Devil started his work that morning. Tom Logan, deputy sheriff, was there fixing to patch up everything and bring it away from there. He brought Cecil Pickett, one of his superintendent Negroes, to help him. So I just walked up like I was walking about. That's the way I played it. I said to Tom Logan, what's the matter? What's going on here? Tom Logan looked at me. I'm fixing to take all Virgil Jones got this morning. Now, I know that was Lester Watson gave him orders to do it. And I know doggone well, according to the quotations, I was going to be next. So I said to him, Mr. Logan, please, sir, don't take all he's got. He's got a wife and children, and if you take all he's got, you'll leave his folks hungry. He ain't got a dime to support him if you take all he's got. I begged him not to do it. I begged him. He looked at me. I got orders to take him, and I'll be damned if I ain't gonna take him. About that time, Cecil Pickett was walking in the lot with the bridles in his hand, and I said to him, what you going in there for? He's going in there to catch them mules. That's what he's going in there for. Well, you just well come on out of there. Catch no mules there today until further investigation. Cease kept walking. Go on in there and catch him if you that game, and I'll be damned if you don't take him out over my dead body. Now go on and take him. She stopped, and he looked at me, and he looked at Logan. Logan seen our meaning, and he told him, come on out, Cease. Come on out, leave him alone. And Logan walked up to me, and he said, you done said enough already for me to be done killed, you. Well, if you want to kill me, I'm standing right before you. Kill me. Kill me. Ain't nothing between us but the air. Kill me. Logan looked at me, and I kept my eyes right on him. Then he told that crowd, well, I'll just go get Sheriff Kurt Bill, and he'll come down here and kill every last damn one of y'all. And you know how he is. When he comes in shooting. Go ahead and get him. Now, every man there heard me. Go ahead and get the sheriff, and I'll be here when it comes. Yeah, after they left, I walked into Virgil Jones' house to see who else was in there. About 4 or 5 fellas sitting around. Now, I could see they were scared. Everything was so quiet. So I turned around and walked out the house to keep my eyes open. Way after a while, I looked down the road, and I seen that car coming. Come on out, fellas, come on out. Yonder they come. Yonder come the officers. And good God, they come running out that house, hitting it to the swamps, just cleaning it up from there. And I stood right on. was standing alone. I didn't think about getting shot, and I didn't think about not getting shot. I thought this. If I'm sworn to stand up for all the poor colored farmers, that's just what I got to do. If I don't mean nothing by joining the organization, I ought to keep my ass out of it. Well, that car drove up, and 4 white men jumped out. Tom Logan come back, and he brought 3 more officers, Lou Badger, Byron Ward, and an old fella by the name of Platt. When they walked to the front of the house in a fast walk, Tom Logan pointed his finger at me, and he said, "There stands Nate Shaw. That's him, right there." And him and Lou Badger went on around the back side of the house. Platt and Ward come straight towards me. I noticed that Platt had an automatic shotgun in his hand. Ward walked to the doorstep, peeping in the house, see who else was in there. Me watching Platt and watching Ward, too. Platt walked up about 5 paces from me, and he stopped. That's just as close as he come. Now, everything was so quiet. Nobody wasn't saying nothing to me. Platt just stood there. He looked at me. He looked at me from my head to my foot. And he kept that gun presented right at me. I reckon he was looking for a crooked move some way. I just standing there, not moving at all. Standing there with my hands in my pocket. Only my finger was on the trigger of my .32 Smith & Wesson. That gun was in my hand. Platt didn't know it, but he'd run up against somebody that weren't scared of him. They ought to stayed away from there or kill me from the start, because I was going to try him just to show us I was alive. I wasn't going to stand up there and look at him and shoot me down. All right. I turned around, walked on into the house. Ward fastened his hand on my arm. I just flung him loose. Off he went like a leech. All right. I started on into the house again. Platt throwed his gun on me. Last time I saw my daddy, he come to my house on a Sunday evening. And it was shown to me the time was close for my old daddy. Next morning, he ate a little bit of breakfast, didn't eat much. And he walked out there very stooped over that morning, walking slow. And the last words my daddy said to me in this word, he looked at me, and he said, "Son, pray. Pray, boy. Pray." Poor old daddy didn't live to see me go to prison. What had I done? He called it attempted murder. But all the killing that was done, them sheriffs done it. They killed Virgil Jones, and that man Platt tried to kill me, and if I'd have had a chance, I'd have returned the favor. When I pulled out that .32 Smith & Wesson, old Platt was standing right next to a big old oak tree, right in line with the door. And as soon as I fired that gun, good God, he jumped behind that tree like lightning. My mind told me, just keep shooting that tree, just keep shooting that tree, and maybe he'll get scared and run, and you'll get a chance at him then. But as the old devil would have it, that tree saved him. The more I shot, the tighter he drawed up behind that tree until I quit shooting. I seen him poke his head from around that tree. And good God almighty, before I got a chance to reload my gun, them 2 sheriffs come running around the house, hitting it to the road, and Mr. Platt and Mr. Ward, all I seen was their backs running, my .32 Smith & Wesson barking too much for 'em to stand. And I was just burning up with shots, standing in that doorway, looking out, my feet sloshing in blood. It's a wonder they hadn't shot my secrets out. Well, I walked out the door, and there was Virgil Jones lying to the left there. bleeding at the mouth. I was sorry I hated that. He went for a little kin to me, Virgil did. So I walked away from the house and went on around the south side of the barn. There was 4 or 5 fellas standing there. They had done come up from the swamps, and they was armed. Them officers had run up to their car on the side of the road and hitched up their ass wagon and took off. Now, Boss Hatch, chunky built, dark-complected fella, he was there. He had a Winchester rifle. And Lil Waldo Ramsey told him, "Give it to me." And he took that gun, dropped on his knee, throwed that rifle down on that car, knocked the glass out, and he injured the stock of one of them deputies' rifles. So they said in court. Trial didn't last one day. Jury come back the next morning and pronounced me guilty. Old Judge Bolden called me to the stand, give me 12 to 15 years in the state penitentiary. He sung to me that I'd been misled. That misled didn't touch my shirt to you. I know that was just their interpretation, and it wasn't no more right in it than they laws and they rulings. I come out of prison April 45. And served my sentence out. Didn't know the state another day of my life. They offered me a parole as much as 3 times, but I turned them down. There was 2 white women, 2 white men on that parole board, and they told me they'd give me a parole if I'd leave my home country and move to Birmingham. And they asked me the very secrets of the organization. One of them white women questioned me backwards and forwards about that union. What you join the union for? What you think it was gonna do for you? She just wanted me to fall down on my knees, cry out, and spill my guts. Oh, but I soured on them. I was a hard nut to crack. I wasn't gonna tell them nothing about that union, no way, shape, form, or fashion. And when that white woman, said she couldn't move me, that made her mad. Ow. You one of them smart negroes, huh? Well, go ahead and make your maximum sentence. I said, yeah, miss, that's just what I'm gonna do. Go ahead, make my maximum sentence. I wants to go home to my wife and children, back to the country I come from. I wants to live in a way that I can be free like folks is free. And if you can't do that for me, you can just keep me bound down in prison. Ooh, she got hot. I cross-talked her. I made a game of her question. I had them white men sitting up there laughing at her. Oh, didn't nobody picking my guts about that union as hard as that white woman did. And when she finished, she knowed just as much as she knowed as when she started. Yeah. Now, there was nothing under God's sun as far as earthly things that suited me better in this world than getting back to my wife. Hannah told me many times since I come out of prison, she said, "Darling, I believe I'd have given birth to another heir if you hadn't been off like you was." But she changed lives while I was gone, and it wasn't possible after that. 9 children was born to us. 9. Of course, they was gone by the time I come home. Barnum wasn't living at the house at the time. Him and his wife and his 2 little girls, they knowed I was coming home, so they went and got a place for themselves. Eugene and Garvin had everything cut and planned when I come home, so I just moved in under their ruling. All right, there was very little we cleared that year. Next crop, 46, when Eugene got that crop gathered, paid off his debts and divided what little was left between us, we didn't get $25 apiece. When he put that crop over, he bundled up and left old Hire. But Garvin, he stuck right in there. He bought himself a big, heavy mule, and that mule could pull any sort of plow, and he had a nice patch of cotton according to the weeds and how he cleaned out them rows. That cotton ought to made him at least 6 good bales. But the boll weevil just ate it up. Didn't leave him one bale. He throwed up his hands and quit complete. He said, Papa, I ain't gonna plow no more. I'm breaking up farming. I ain't gonna plant no more cotton, no more corn, not a thing that grows in the earth. Well, that left Vine. In 1948, he bought his own plantation. 61 acres. That's about as fine a piece of farm as you'll find anywhere in this country. Smooth land, productive land. Now, some of them predicted some of my color, who was weak, if I must say, as goat chips. Old Nate Shaw ain't gonna be no count when he comes out of prison. It's gonna work him to death, and he ain't gonna be able to do a thing. Just talking their hatred. I could whack, stayed in prison 12 long years and come out fit for hard labor just like I went in. I could hoe, I could pick cotton, I could pick up in the hundreds of pounds of cotton. Been picking cotton ever since my little old hands was big enough to reach in them bowls. Of course, I've grown a little weary from working out in the full sun, but I could pick my share, pick more than my share. Give me a pleasure to see that field as white as snow and that cotton bursting. Well, after we moved on to Vernon's place, Hannah didn't ever feel too good. In the year of 50, her sickness set down on her and she taken to bed. I'd go out in the field and commence the plowing, and I'd dash back in middle of the morning to see how she was. She'd still be on the bed. She hadn't gotten up since I went out in that morning. Then one Sunday evening in August, she started complaining about a hurting in her back. And she tried to get up off the bed, and I told her she ought to lay back down. Seemed like she didn't know who I was, so I called out for the doctor. The doctor rushed up from Colusa to examine her. Me and Vernon was out in the yard. Dr. Jen come out and he said, "Rush her to the hospital at once! Rush her to the hospital at once! She's got cancer of the lungs!" That tore us all to pieces. Rushed her on to the hospital that Sunday evening to come back Monday morning, and I seen Verily she was upset some way. And I heard her talking low. Jesus, 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 Jesus. I feel like my very heart been gone. She was my wife, and had been a wife to me since 1906 in the Christmas. I picked her out amongst all the girls in this country, and it was the easiest thing in the world to do. I love that girl. She proved she dearly loved me. She and I was the mother and the father of 9 children. I stayed with Hannah 40-odd years, and it was short. But she stuck by me till the last piece and gone out the dish. We buried her at Pottstown Baptist Church. That was her membership. It had been. Hannah was a Christian girl when I married her. She was a woman that wanted to keep all her surroundings clean, as far as her arms and her hands could reach. I kept myself clean as I possibly could. But in past days, I sneaked about, I did. I owned to my part of wrongness. Maybe I'll come in contact with other women, but not many, not many. And I handle the proposition quiet. No matter what I said to another woman or what I done, I let my wife come first. Since I come out of prison, I've had it poked in my face that I disregarded my family. I've had them say, you worship them big old mules and whatever all you have, declaring my property was my God. Well, I was just proud of them mules. I didn't love them. I didn't buy them mules to try and get bigger than nobody else. I'd always been a poor man. Even when I'm mad, I didn't have decent clothes to wear. I had nothing. I bought them mules to serve my family, and I knowed I was entitled to anything I wanted just as long as I had the means to get it. Several white men in the community have come by my house since I come out of prison, and they told me they didn't have nothing to do with that mob crowd that come hunting around my peoples. Now, I can't say today who was in that crowd, because I wasn't there. You see, when I got all shot to pieces, I had walked on home. Walked on home all shot to pieces in my seat. Vernon and Hannah put me up on my Chevrolet car and drove me on down to Tuskegee Hospital. Doctors laid me out on the table, and they commenced to pick and shot out of me, and they asked me how come I got shot and so on. I couldn't tell him it was the Union, because I couldn't afford to tell it to people I didn't know. So they treated me. They had to treat me. But they wouldn't keep me there overnight. A man of their own color. Hannah carried me on out of there down deeper into Macon County, England, Southwest, out of Tuskegee on into Quitman's Flat to a cousin of hers, and I stayed there overnight. She and Vernon went on home, and they run into a riot crowd. They come hunting all over and around my people. One of them shot my little girl, Leanne, in the jaw, scared them to death. That next evening, they called Vernon, and they told him if he didn't tell them where I was, they'd kill him. But they didn't touch my wife, though. Oh, she was gone. She run to her brother, little Waldo Rams, and told him where I was. And when he heard, he come tearing down at me the late hour of the night. And I told him, you can't come down here, brother. They're going to rally, raise the devil, shoot folks, and kill them until they find me. And he had a breech load of gun. And I told him they're going to hurt you if they catch you here with that. But I couldn't move him. He wasn't going to leave his brother-in-law, and he wasn't going to get scared of that gun. The next evening, I heard them cars rolling up to the house. And I said, yonder they come. They rolling in here after me. Little Waldo jumped up and he juiced that gun. I begged that boy not to leave that house, but he was too game. And bless God, when he went out shooting, and he took off on a run. And them sheriffs throwed their rifles down on him, and they shot at him like they was taking a walk. They shot at him until they shot him down. I was listening to them rifles crying behind that boy. And when them bullets ceased, I knowed he was dead. I sat down on a chair. I couldn't move. Two of them officers come in, they fastened their arms around me, took me outdoors, and made me pick up little Waldo's body and put it on the back of one of them sheriff's cars on the floor. And when they shot him, I looked at him. He just tore that poor boy apart. They made Vernon get up on the car with him, direct him to where I was. He was sitting there waiting for a chance to talk to me. When the car took off, he said, Papa, they said they'd kill me if I didn't tell them where you was. I told him, you done right, son, you done right. You tell them where I'm at every time and save yourself. I'd rather go down than for them to harm any of my boys. God said revenge is his. It's under the ledger of the Bible. Take Lester Watson. His soul cannot be at rest. Ain't no way for it. He had a good time here. but he's catching hell today. I don't say he's going to hell definitely. I just look back at God's word. His soul is required in torment today. Now, every man that I heard of talk against me, every one to my knowing is dead and gone. They died like sheep with the rock. That old judge that sentenced me, he didn't live to see me make my sentence. Tom Heflin, the man that prosecuted me, he didn't live. My Lord, that opened my eyes. God removed them from this earth. That jury, well, heap of them gone. And that old sheriff, Kurt Bill, so desperately against me, shot to death by his own cutter. And them sheriffs that come running behind me, Lou Badger's dead, or Tom Logan's dead. Platt, the man that shot me, he's dead. God moved them. People ought to live right. People ought to live to inherit the kingdom of heaven when they're gone from this world. But they don't give a damn. Well, the rest of that bunch, Flint's dead, Tucker's dead, Watson dead. Ain't but one of them living to my knowing. C.D. Grace, the banker. He come to my house to see my wife while I was in the penitentiary, ask her how she was doing, how I was getting along. Before he left, he reached in his pocket and he pulled out a quarter and he gave it to her and told her to give it to me. 25 cents worth of sympathy. My own dear boys don't understand why I done what I done. Ain't one of them boys put his arms around me and say, Papa, I'm proud of you for joining the union and doing what you're doing. Ain't one of them walk up to me and hold a hearty conversation in regards to this union business. And if they have anything to say, they show the weak spots in it. And they my children. Now, I don't call for nobody to run their heads up under a gun, but you got to rise up in defense of your portion. My children have a better life than they ever been had by my color. And the way is clearer than ever in history. And to know that I had a part in making it clear is the grandest of all. Not appreciated. They'd know that I'd done my part for peace and pleasure and unity. It was 2 years. It was 2 years after Hannah died before I ever offered to have a conversation with my second wife. Now, everybody knows Josie was a working woman. Used to, when she was married to her first husband, she'd work out in the fields with him, like a man. Now, it was noticeable to me that some of my children didn't approve at me marrying Josie. They might have thought maybe she didn't measure up to their mother in some way. But I know Josie's family, and they was well spoken of, and there never was no outcry over Josie's principles and character. Never was. I corresponded Josie a little over a year before I married her. Right at her daughter, Mary Beth's wedding, she said, "It's going to be me next." I turned around when I heard that. Yeah, and I trembled like a young man will do. Well, I planted a little less cotton after I married Josie than I ever did plant, and I took 4 acres on half with Vernon. He furnishing the land and the fertilizer, and I furnishing the labor. I was sharecropping then like a darn when I started off, just married to my first wife. And I'd help Vernon with his cotton crop, too. Come fall, after I finished picking my little cotton, I'd pitch in there and give Vernon a hand. I could pick up to, 100 pounds a day. Used to when I was picking regular on my own farm, I could pick up to 300 pounds a day. My old daddy had a whole lot of good logic to him. He'd say, once a man, twice a child. That's the way it come up with me, too. I could pick as much at the end of my days as I picked at the start. Mm-hmm. Well, the last crop I made with Verney, I seen I couldn't keep up with my own farm, and I couldn't plow a rough grade of land, couldn't keep up my stock, and every year I got weaker and weaker. If I'd have plowed out there 2 or 3 years longer, I might have fell out in the field according to my feelings. So I decided to sell out to where I wouldn't have so much to do. My blacksmith tools I sold to a fella by the name of Lauren Ray. White man buys all this old-timey stuff he can get his